What's going on, brothers and sisters? I want to welcome you guys to Listener Feedback, episode number 51. And in this episode will be starring, of course, Mr. Cody Clark. Shout out to you, my brother, the Triple OG. This brother's been around for a very long time, and I appreciate you writing in. We also have someone that is becoming a bit of a staple of this show. He is called in and wrote in for several weeks in a row. Shout out to you, Mr. C. Jack. I appreciate you, my brother, for writing and calling in yet again. It is greatly appreciated. And also, I got to give an honorable mention to my guy, Mr. Mike J. as well. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate you, man. But with that being said, if you, the listener, want to call in or write in to be a part of the next listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 667-284-9057 and let your voice be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is simply theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. So what I want to do is, Mike J. Now, I had a conversation with this brother, and he said it was okay to talk about what we talked about on the phone. So, Mike J., now the question I was asking you guys is, will Grand Theft Auto 6, let me get it together, goddog, will GTA 6 move more Series S consoles? Will it be a console seller for the Series S? Because the S is the cheapest console. This joke is cheaper than the doggone Nintendo Switch 2 right now. So I was thinking in my mind that shucks, at $400, somebody that wants Grand Theft Auto 6, somebody that's not worried about the bells and the whistles, the 4K resolution, the 60 frames per second, the ray tracing, all of that stuff, somebody that just wants to get in to the door of current generation hardware just to play GTA 6, this would be a great entry point. But then Mike J., my good brother Mike J., he came to me and he said, nah, I think it was it's just a little too late.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
That brother said ain't nobody showing up to the dance. He said you might get a few here and there, but he believes that the ship has sailed. I'm going to tell you, Mike J., brother, I just don't think that's the case. We're talking about, look, the holiday season is going to be coming up. We know what's going on in the economy. As people that are working every day, prayerfully we're all working. You know, we know that situation has been pretty rough, over the last year or two. Gas is at $4+ here in Baltimore. I'm like, God, dog, these like West Coast prices. I remember seeing West Coast prices being at $4 and $5 a gallon for gas. I never thought it would be that high over here, but yet here we are. People are paying way more money for food that have families. If you got 2 children, if you got one kid today, it is very, very hard. And I don't have any. So I know what's going on with me. And I'm like, man, you add one kid into the mix. God, dog. Trouble. Whole plan getting blown up in smoke. Trouble. So I'm just simply looking at it from the standpoint of, for a person who has someone in their life, I'm not even going to say a kid, because Grand Theft Auto 6 shouldn't be being played by the children, as it were, right now. But for somebody that wants to get their loved one, let's just say a significant other, loved one, husband, wife, nephew, whatever the case may be, that they want to get them into current generation hardware. And they're looking at the PlayStation 5, and it's like $600 bare minimum. And then you look over at Nintendo, you're talking about $450. That's probably about to go up. I mean, probably to $500. And it's like, well, what about this Xbox thing? Does this thing play pretty much the same games? And it's like, yeah, it plays about 80, maybe 75% of the games that the other ones play. You're just not going to get the bells and whistles. Like, you know what? Bump all that. I don't even want to hear no more. Give me that right there. And then they say, oh, by the way, you can get Game Pass at $30, and that'll have all of the first-party games in it, and you'll have some third-party games in there as well. Like, what? Sign me up for this. So that was my way of thinking on that, Mike J. I was just thinking about the full picture of what could be. And I'm going to tell you, man, price means everything. We all know this. I mean, we're the hardcore, so we'll spend a little bit more. We'll wiggle a little bit here and there. I do kind of want it. It does have a couple of games I want to play. I'll pay the money for it. But the average consumer, man, we all know they trying to get in for the low, for the cheapest price possible. And that was the beauty of consoles just last generation, when they really start seeing that uptick of people coming into the market. It was when the consoles got so low. They were very, very affordable. $250. I know me and Mike J, we had talked about that, talking about, how low the prices had gotten last generation, and how so many people started flooding the market, as far as what they wanted to, not what they wanted to, but as far as them buying the console. So I still believe that will be the case today. I think that the Series S, man, I just feel like it's going to jump off maybe not jump off the Richter scale, but I do believe it's going to be a big bump in the sales. But Mike J, only time will tell, my brother, but I definitely appreciate your feedback and you letting me know your thoughts. So for that, my brother, thank you so, so much. So up next, we got an email from the good brother C. Jack. Now, the title of his email is, "Seems like I have the last laugh." This is an interesting title. Let's hear what C. Jack is talking about. He says, "Man, Keys, let me find out the Xbox is the Joker of gaming." Yeah, man. I think that the new GTA is definitely going to sell Xbox Series S's, like you said, especially to people that have been waiting so long for this game. But the more I think about it and the more you talk about it, I just feel like Xbox saw this coming. Think about it. That's interesting. Think about it. They are one of the biggest companies in the world and probably have crazy foresight when it comes to economy. It's crazy if this is the case. Xbox has used the eyes of Thundera. Oh, Thundera, you say, my brother? Man, oh man, what you know about that, C. Jack? Thundercats. Oh, see, Jack, I'm with you on that, my brother. My man, C-Jack. Man, that brother took it back to my doggone childhood with that one. He said, "Sorry, that's just for us 80s babies. Peace, bro." Hey, C-Jack, listen, man, just a sidebar. Side note, I remember the Christmas that I got doggone, oh man, blew my mind, right? So at this time, Thundercats is the hottest thing on TV. Lion-O is amazing. Chitara, Panthro, Wally Kid. I mean, the whole cast is incredible. Every day I'm running home, C-Jack, to get in front of the TV to watch Thundercats. And I remember when they started showing up, man, God, dog, when they would show those commercials of the Thundercats and all of that stuff, and how Lion-O's eyes would light up if you put the ring in his back. Ooh, man, I begged my parents it probably was months. Please, if I can't get anything for Christmas, please let me get Lion-O. I ain't care about Panthro, Wally Kid. I just wanted him. That was it. I just wanted Lion-O. And I remember I woke up that morning, C-Jack, to Christmas time, brother. I mean, I was very, 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 very blessed. My parents, they really, man, shout out to my parents, man. They were amazing, man. Man, I had two of the best parents ever. Man, I miss them daily, too. My goodness. But, man, that morning I woke up. It was so many gifts up under the tree, and I'm, grateful to have all of them. But, it's always that one gift that you're looking for. And my goodness, C-Jack, if I did not find Lion-O on the side, it was like they purposely hid it, because they knew I wanted it so bad. So as I'm looking around the tree trying to find them, and finally when I did, man, brother, my goodness, it was so amazing, brother. It was incredible. Tore them out of the doggone wrapper and everything, and I'm playing with them, and a couple of other, I don't even know what other toys I got at the moment. I don't even remember at this second. Had so many other gifts. But, man, that was just one of the best Christmases ever. That was during the time where after Christmas was over and you come back to school and you would have, like, show and tell. And I was like, man, I'm bringing Lion-O to show and tell. God dog it. Man, I had them with me, brought them to school. And they were like, you had to get up in front of the class. Everybody remembers this. You had to get up in front of the class and show off what you got. Man, I walked in that joker proud that day. C-Jack, head up high, my brother. I got in front of the class. It was my turn. And I got up there, and man, they was all, kind of happy about it. Like, oh, man, that's cool. That's cool. But when I put that ring in his back and his eyes lit up, oh, man, all you heard was, oh, my goodness. Yeah, brother, that was heck of a time, C-Jack, heck of a time, brother. You took me down memory lane, man. Let me get back to your email, though. God, dog, pardon me, y'all, for going way off track and whatnot. I feel like I'm going to lose my voice by the time this episode is over. But, yeah, man, C-Jack, I'm with you, my brother. I think that it's going to be a situation where people that have been waiting, like you said, C-Jack, for such a long time, for this game to come out, when they see those prices, they gonna be like, man, if I can just get in the door, let me just get in the door. Because for most industries, I'm sure, I can't put a number on it, but I'm just thinking of it from a logical standpoint, that the casuals run probably every market out there. I don't know too many car enthusiasts out there, but I know a whole bunch of people that just want a car to get them to work. I don't know a whole lot of TV enthusiasts, but I do know people that just want to watch TV in a decent clarity. Liquor, people that collect liquor. I only know a few people that pay the hundreds, if not $1,000 for some liquor. Most people just want to get something that's good, decent, and that's it. Nothing too crazy. So that's what I'm saying. I just think that in the market of gaming, and it's been already proven, that the casuals really do run the market. So whether or not you're going to be successful, I think it truly does depend on what the casuals are feeling about your product. And if your product is way too high, way too much for the average consumer to be able to afford, and I'm going to say $600, all the way up to $900, man, that's not an average, I would say, price-friendly cost for the average consumer. Even, like I said, I'm a hardcore gamer. I love this stuff. But even for me, if we're talking about, and I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here, C-Jack, but I'm just saying, just for comparison's sake, if the next gen console of PlayStation, PS6, is going to be $700, I'm going to really have to pause at that $650. Because y'all know I'm going to want the disk drive. Y'all know I'm going to want the disk drive. So even at $650, I'd be like, man, I don't know if I'm going to jump in. I just don't, man, I'm lying. Man, I know I'm lying. Matter of fact, I think I had this conversation where I was like, man, Ratchet and Clank, I wouldn't be able to say no to that. Rift Apart, they would have had me. They would have had me. Hook, line, and sinker. I couldn't have said no to that. But I'm just saying that most people, they ain't looking for Ratchet and Clank. Unfortunately, it's a phenomenal franchise. But they're looking for Madden, you know, all of the casual games, as we call them. You know, your Maddens, your 2Ks, your Call of Duties, you know, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I just think that if you are pricing yourself out of the market, it's not going to go too far. I know, shout out to Z. Z over there at the Broadband Bully. Shout out to that brother, man. That brother's so dope. He had a show just the other day. Now, it was a little early as far as the numbers went, but he did cover that the PlayStation 5, the sales of that console have dropped to Xbox numbers. Over in Japan, they're doing Xbox numbers right now. It's crazy. So I truly believe that if things do start to really dip, you got to give it till around Christmas time. I would say Christmas will be the defining factor for if PlayStation can get away with the $600 to $900 price point. If they see their sales are in the tank, I can guarantee you they will drop the price back down. I think they're really doing this because they think they can get away with it. I understand the tariffs are one thing and all of that stuff, but no, it's a 6-year-old hardware. We cannot forget that point. 6 years old. This stuff is closer to a decade old than it would be considered new. So, yeah, I think that they could really drop that price, but it's all going to depend on what the consumers deem as a good price or not. If they go out there and they buy this stuff in droves and Sony doesn't see a dip in sales or everything seems to be pretty consistent across the board, they're going to keep it here. But if people vote with their wallets, which is the most important thing to do, and don't buy it, then they will definitely readjust because other things inside of Sony are not doing well. Their film, I believe their film division isn't doing that great. Their music isn't doing that great. I believe they did some kind of partnership with, I think is it TLC? TCL? Man, I'm thinking about the R&B group. I think it's TCL TVs. I don't even think they're making TVs anymore. You know, so they have what they're really banking on is PlayStation. And if that falters, it could be real trouble. It could be real trouble for the company as a whole. I'm not saying it's going to tank them, but I believe it will be a major hit to them if the PlayStation brand doesn't stay at the level that they need it to. So, yeah, C-Jack, we'll definitely see. And I'm going to tell you something, brother. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that Xbox can rally here some kind of way. Rally and really put themselves in a position, to actually compete. And I'll say this, C-Jack, because I feel like I'm not doing your email justice, my brother. I would say that I do believe that they had some foresight. Maybe not the foresight of knowing that it was going to go this way per se, because how many of us could have really saw this coming with the tariffs and all of this other stuff? But I will say they had to have had some kind of foresight to know that, look, we need to keep this thing maybe not close to the chest, but we need to, try to leverage what we got going on. I think that what really happened, C-Jack, I mean, like I talked about last time, we know that Microsoft, they're always early to the party. Whatever they're doing, they're pushing stuff years and years in advance. And with the cloud gaming, I would say now that was the bigger play. That was the bigger thinking way ahead of the curve play that they did, was with Game Cloud, with the X Cloud or whatever you call it, just gaming, pretty much streaming it. I think that was where they were really ahead of the curve, because if you think about the situation of today with these consoles being as expensive as they are, that is the dirt cheap option right there. Now, you're going to have to pay for the game. You're going to have to pay for the service and all of that, which is on a monthly basis. So, once you put all of that together, you're probably paying more than the console, and it's going to be for a less optimized experience, but you'll be in the door. I think that's where they were ahead of the curve the most, but them actually, having their console be the cheapest on the market, man, it's very, very interesting to say whether or not they were ahead of the curve and knew that this was going to happen. I don't know, because they're cheaper than the Switch 2 right now. And the Switch 2, the Switch 2 might be a little more powerful than the S, but nonetheless, they're going to have Grand Theft Auto 6 on their console. Whereas Nintendo, I don't know if they're going to have GTA 6 on theirs day and date. Maybe it comes at a later time, but I will say that, C-Jack, I think it's a 50-50 thing. Maybe they were ahead of the curve. Maybe they were, and they saw this coming. I know that Phil Spencer did mention in some interview, God, dog, I think he had mentioned something, and this is not going to be verbatim, but he did mention something along the lines of console costs possibly going up a lot more if they didn't get a hold on what was happening, with the industry or something like that. So, maybe Phil did see something going on. Maybe he did. As much flack as I give that brother, maybe he saw something in the ecosystem. There was a bit of a red flag. And here we are today. But nonetheless, though, C-Jack, it's going to be an interesting ride, my brother, when it comes down to what we see Xbox and PlayStation do when GTA 6 comes out. Oh, man. Speaking of GTA 6, C-Jack and listeners, all of y'all great listeners here, man, did y'all see some of the leaks that came out for GTA 6? They got screenshots right now. Screenshots of GTA 6. Y'all remember we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. And now information is being leaked. Not information. Let's just say screenshots. There's some new screenshots up there. I saw, what's her name? The main character, Lucia. She was in a pool and she was like shooting a gun, and you can see people scrambling, trying to hop out the pool and whatnot, trying to get to safety. Then you saw one screenshot where Jason was riding on it wasn't a motorcycle, more so like a dirt bike through a dirt road and whatnot. I'm like, what the world? So that guy might have been on to something. The one that got locked up, He smuggled in a cell phone. He was still in contact with these leakers. That story quite possibly could have been doggone true.
What you talking about, Willis?
I said, wait a minute. As crazy as that story sounded at the time as I was reading it, I said, I don't know, this stuff sounds like something out of a comic book, out of a movie script. You know, I doubt that that's happening, but here we are today. And they're threatening Rockstar right now to actually pay them a ransom, or they're going to start releasing files. Now, I did hear, the one thing that I did hear was, well, I read. I didn't hear anything because I have no sources, no insiders, nothing like that. But what I did read was they don't think the game will be delayed because I don't think they got the source code for the game itself. So whatever they're talking about, I think they were talking about more so releasing their launch plans, you know, that their build up to them actually launching the game. So the days that they're going to be showing off the next trailer of GTA 6, their, you know, some of their special edition packaging, how much it's going to be. It was something else too. It was more so just things like that, just the road to them launching the game. Nothing to do with any game information so much, even though those leaks, those screenshots were interesting, but they're more so talking about just the lead up to what Rockstar is going to be talking about, the dates when they're going to be showing off the trailers and all of that stuff. So we'll see, man. I mean, the plot has definitely thickened when it's come to all of these things as far as them leaking the information. I tell you, that really blew me away. That just happened over the weekend. I think Friday I started seeing glimpses of it, and Saturday a lot of people over on X were talking about it. So very, very, very interesting. But let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's get into. We got, let me see, C-Jack, you sent me an email. I'm going to get to you, Cody Clark, in just a second. I see your email here, my brother. Let me see. C-Jack, you sent me something else that says how it feels buying a console in 2026. Let's see what this is. I'm going to bring it up. Here we go.
Mighty Keith. Boy, I cannot wait for Grand Theft Auto 6.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm getting it day one. Hey, you get your PS5 yet?
PS5? Brother, I have a gaming PC.
Okay.
Acer Predator, if I need to be gaming while I'm not home.
Okay. And if I tune settings enough, I could probably even play it on the Steam Deck. PS5. Now, you're probably wondering why there's Fire Emblem on the Steam Deck. Very legally. You do know the game is only launching on console when it comes out, right? We don't know when it's coming to PC.
What?
Yeah, bro, they have not confirmed when it's coming to PC. Could be a year. Could be 2. They wouldn't do that. I mean, GTA 5 came out 13 years ago. The streets are hungry. Well, they're going to be starving a little bit longer unless they got a PS5 or Xbox. I can't miss GTA 6, bro. I can't miss it. I waited long enough. Let me go and get this PS5. Time out. You getting a console right now in today's economy? What are you talking about, bro?
Hello, sir.
Yes?
I'm sorry, but your card has been declined. You can't make this purchase.
What you mean? I got $5,000 on that card.
Well, it costs $5,001. Now call us back when you're less broke.
God, dog. We got to get out of there, CJ. Oh, man. God, dog, if y'all want to continue watching this is hilarious, man. It's a content creator that goes by Mighty Keith. Spelled MIGHTYKEEF, and the title of it, so you can find it on YouTube, is How It Feels Buying a Console in 2026. Shout out to you, CJ. Oh, man. God, dog, Joker said I got $5,000 on the car, cost $5,001. Jeez, me Christmas. Consoles are crazy expensive right now, man. Yeah, I didn't want to ruin the rest of the video, but man, I'm telling you, people that love this hobby, People that are invested have been in it for years. Man, even we're feeling the pinch. Now, I get it. Us that have the consoles right now, we're all right. We're not, we're okay as it stands right now. But for someone that was waiting to get in, they were waiting for that window. Oh, man, that window was closed, sealed, and nailed shut. It's hard out here. It's tough. Oh, you know what, though? I'm glad you actually sent that video over to me, C-Jack, because they had mentioned the PC version of Grand Theft Auto 6, possibly taking a year, maybe 2 years. It was just something that popped up over on X that said, now, I don't know if Rockstar is officially behind this or not. Again, we got the leakers out there that leaking information, according to what's going on online. And the word is saying that it's actually, pardon me, guys, that it's actually going to release on PC in February of 2027.
What did he say?
I said, what? February of 2027. Now, that right there, now that would be a little crazy. That might disrupt a couple of things, too, in the console space. Now, again, we don't know if it's going to really happen. It's a rumor out there. Who knows if it's true? But if that happens, do you think PC guys, like my good brother C-Jack, good brother Cody Clark, and shout out to my good brother Crimson Phoenix, do you think they're going to be swayed? That's even if they want Grand Theft Auto 6 like that. If they're going to be swayed to say, you know what, let me buy this console for November and, by February it's coming out on PC. That ain't going to happen. 3 months? 3 months is a drop in the bucket for as many games as we're getting this year. I think that a lot of people that might have went out and bought a PlayStation 5 or a Series S. Now that's if these guys have a PC. That's another big factor that's involved as well. But if they do have a PC that is capable, now that's the question. Now, hold on. Now that is the bigger question. How many PC rigs are going to be able to run a game like GTA 6 out of the gate? We know that this game has to be demanded. You know what? Let's see if we can find something on it. Let's see. I know it's not out, and I know I'm going to be reaching here. But let's see if we can find possibly what the specs are that you'll need to run GTA 6. Do you possibly know what a PC gamer would need as far as specs go to run GTA 6? Let's see if we can get an answer.
While Rockstar Games has not yet released the official spec sheet for the PC version of Grand Theft Auto 6, we can draw a very clear picture based on the hardware in the current-gen consoles, PS5/Xbox Series 10, and recent leaks from early 2026. Keep in mind that as of right now, the console release is slated for November 19, 2026, with the PC version expected to follow in early 2027. Estimated system requirements. If you are looking to build or upgrade a rig to be GTA 6 ready, here is the hardware tier you should be aiming for. Component minimum estimated. Recommended high settings. CPU. Intel Core i5-10600K Ryzen 5 3600. Intel Core i9-12900K.
You know, we ain't gonna go through all that, man. Let me see. I got it right here. So it's saying for minimum specs, okay, you'll need a RTX 2070 to a 5700. If you want high recommended settings, that's a 470 RTX 470 to 7800 or XT. You're gonna need 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, or you can do for minimum 16 gigs of DDR4. So I don't know. It might not be out of a lot of people's wheelhouse. a 2070, that's an older card, and I'm sure a lot of people have that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, man, to see if it does come out on PC in February versus November of that following year, how this is going to affect everything on the console side. I think that it would be a good move for them to release it on PC pretty much that soon, because they could, GTA 6 is going to sell no matter what. Who am I kidding? Who am I lying to think that game isn't going to sell like that, my brothers?
He was on crack. Crack cocaine.
I understand that. I understand. I kind of lost my mind for a minute, but I'm back now. Yeah, GTA 6 is going to sell regardless. So we just got to keep that in mind, and we'll see what happens with the PC version. But let's go ahead, though, guys, and let's see, what do we have here now? Matter of fact, C-Jack, you sent me a voicemail here. Let me see if I can come up with your voicemail. Here we go, my brother.
What's up, Keys? This your boy C-Jack, just checking in, man. What's going on, man? Hey, man, I think Xbox, man, I don't know, man. Some of the topics, especially when you were talking about would I subscribe for $20 to just Xbox exclusive games, and I'm like, I had to think about it. I said, I think they do enough. I had to really think about it, though. You know what I mean? I was on Game Pass, and I stopped subscribing because they got too high. You know about the price bump, but I think I would. If it was $20, I would subscribe. I would, man. And yeah, I would. I would subscribe.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, C-Jack. I got to tell you, my brother. And matter of fact, man, hold on. Thank you for that one, my brother. Thank you for that voicemail. This the thing, C-Jack. I will say this. Now, y'all know that I was playing Senua Saga, H-Blade 2. I was in the early stages when I was telling y'all about it on Wednesday. This is the thing, man. I have gotten deeper into that game. And my gosh, man, I don't know what any of these people are talking about. That game right there is something, man, listen, check it out. I mean, I want to put the caveat out there because things can happen to mess around and drop a game's experience or the score to a lower level. But what I will say is right now, as I'm playing the game, I'm probably about 3, maybe 4 hours in, somewhere around there. And we know that this isn't one of the longer games. So I feel like I'm getting kind of towards maybe a bit of the middle, but not quite the middle. Doggone, I will say Ninja Theory has done a marvelous job. Holy cow. This game is awesome. It is absolutely amazing. I have been playing this game. Oh, man, beautiful. Oh, man, that thing is a beaut. It is beautiful, first and foremost. But when you put the headphones on, I have the Pulse Elites. And when you put those headphones on to play the game, holy ouch! It's a whole nother level. It's a whole nother level. It is amazing. You're hearing the voices and whatnot. Now I will say, listen, I was playing it in the dark, playing it at night, and I'm, hey, listen, I'm not embarrassed to say this, God dog it. I had to turn the game off for a minute. Voices and whatnot were getting to me. I'm finding myself, I know this sounds crazy, man. I'm not crazy. Maybe I'm a little crazy, but I found myself as the game was going on. I started looking around my own doggone room. Just like, God, dog. I start feeling claustrophobic a little bit. Started feeling like, man, just a little bit of tensity kind of rising up in me. I said, you know what? Headphones off, doggone it. I had to put the headphones down. I had to shut the game off. I said, I just need a minute. I need a minute to regroup because this is getting a little tense, just a little bit. And I will say, man, wow. It has been an amazing experience, C-Jack. It has been incredible just to go through this game, going through the different stages. I'm like, man, maybe Microsoft is really cooking out here. Like I said, I was just looking at Starfield. I saw it came to PS5. I've been getting people's overall thoughts. Of course, this is off of YouTube videos that have played the game. And they're like, man, it's actually a pretty good game. It's a fun experience. They're really enjoying it. They're having a good time. And I'm looking at it. And I'm like, doggone, this game looks beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I just don't know. So, C-Jack, to your point, my brother, man, listen, if I was to do it, maybe I would. And shout out to Lawrence Jones. Oh, man, I can't forget my brother, Lawrence Jones, man. Shout out to you, my brother. This brother right here, hey, Lawrence, brother, thank you so much for everything that you do over at the Analog Circle Facebook group. Definitely go over there and join. Lawrence Jones is always on top of things. Man, this brother just put up something that talked about Starfield that says Starfield on PS5 gets a massive overhaul with the Free Lanes update and Terran Armada DLC, making it Bethesda's best RPG since Fallout 3. And I will say, just looking at the game, I'm like, doggone, this looks really, really good. So it's like, man, maybe I will pick this game up. The only thing I do here is that it's a lot of loading screens. And shout out to Lawrence Jones. He said, I believe that brother said he clocked in over 400 hours into the game. 400 hours. Woo! Brother, did you have time to play anything else? 400 hours is amazing. That's a lot of doggone time. But I'm just simply saying, C-Jack, to your point, if I was to jump on and it was $20, I think I would be all right with that. I have Doom. I'm gonna check that out in a couple days because I don't think Senua's Saga is gonna last much longer. But boy, was I wrong about that game. I can't express that enough. I feel like I owe these jokers an apology, over there at Ninja Theory. Now, I know that the game is not going to be for everybody. I will say that. I don't want you to think that this is a full-on action adventure game. It's a lot of downtime. It's a lot of talking, story building, some puzzles. I will say I haven't had to deal with a ton of puzzles so far, which has been phenomenal. That's been awesome. And the puzzles that I have come across, they haven't been hard to figure out. So I am very, very grateful and happy about that. But again, it's a world where you're on a straight and narrow path. You can't veer off the path and go anywhere else. So it's very confined. It's a very confined experience where it's just mainly just all story driven. But I will say those times when you're in the combat, oh man, it is epic. It is so dope because you got the voices in your head, like you gotta move, you gotta run, you gotta get away. They'll be calling, send you all kind of stuff. She's stupid and all that. I mean, it gets a little tense, man. And with those Pulse Elites, man, that headset is really, really good. Because I feel like at times the voices really sound like they're behind me. And I find myself, I'm like, I know I'm playing the game. I know that it's a game. Okay, that's why I'm like, don't think I'm crazy, y'all. But I'm like looking around my room. I'm looking behind me and whatnot. You know, it's just absolutely a fantastic experience so far. I just, man, maybe they got it together, C-Jack. They may have it together, my brother. Because, listen, Doom is up next. And Starfield, I don't know, at $50, I might give it a shot. I might give it a chance. Then you got Gears of War, E-Day coming up. You got Fable coming up this year. Forza Horizon 6 seems to be getting good impressions. Some people wish they did a little bit more, but it's been overall getting good impressions. So I don't know, man. If they were to release that service, if it is real, C-Jack, excuse me, at $20, I mean, first off, I would have to get an Xbox. Oh, man, that'd be the first thing. That'd be the first thing, C-Jack. I got to get an Xbox, bro. Oh, man. I don't know, C-Jack. I might be hurt a little bit off of that one, brother. Oh, man. But I'm going to tell you something, though. I'm going to tell you this. At the end of the day, if you got great games, see, they would have to make it, C-Jack, where they stop putting them on PlayStation. Stop putting them over there. Stop it. Just stop putting them over there, and you would have me as a customer. It is quite possible that they could have me as a customer. I'm sitting here right now, and I'm like, doggone. This doggone Senua's Saga. Man, I want to know, what was the Metacritic score for this game? Maybe I'm thinking that it got bad scores, and it actually didn't. Because I did that with Starfield. Starfield got like an 80. That's a doggone great. That's a fantastic score. Maybe not fantastic, but it's great. That's a very, very great score. So maybe Senua's Saga, maybe it wasn't that bad. What was the Metacritic score for Senua's Saga, H-Blade 2?
Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2 holds a critical Metacritic score in the low 80s, reflecting a generally positive but somewhat polarized reception. Metacritic scores by platform: PC 81, Xbox Series X 80, user score 7.3, mixed or average.
That ain't bad then. So yeah, I was off. I was off yet again. Here we have another 80 Metacritic. I mean, when you go to the user score, okay, it dropped to a 7.3, but that's still good. That's not failing. That's a good score. And like I said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody is going to enjoy this kind of experience. Me, I like to get away from the regular, just run and gun, fast-paced, shooting and all of that stuff. I like to get away from that every once in a while. So a game like this, for me, is perfect. It slows it down. It's concentrating more on the story, the character development. It's just giving you a really intriguing story, a great experience. And I'll also say that I didn't expect for the one-on-one battles to actually be as good as they were. As I've continued to go through, I was always on record, saying that's a turnoff, man. You can't fight multiple, enemies at once. This is going to be ridiculous. As I've gotten into it, man, it was this one scene. Oh, man, I don't know if it would be a spoiler or not, but it was just so dope the way that they did it. It's not a spoiler. People were running in trying to help, but they were getting knocked to the side. And as they were coming in, getting pushed away, and the enemy coming at you and slashing you with the sword, it just made it look so doggone good, man. It was just such a dope experience. I've never felt like The one-on-ones were taken away from the game. It's immersive. It is an immersive experience, and I am shocked. I am so shocked and intrigued that I am enjoying the game this much. So I gotta say, being fair about all of this stuff, shout out to Ninja Theory. Because, I told y'all Ninja Theory was my pick for the closest thing that they would have to Naughty Dog. And they are proving that with Senua's Saga. So shout out to them and shout out to Xbox for me, at least as it stands right now, having a big winner on their hands. It's amazing. God, dog. But look, let's go ahead and let's move into the next email that I got from the good brother, the Triple OG, Mr. Cody Clark. Now, the title of his email is, Don't Go Chasing Trends at All. He says, seeing stuff like the numbers for Marathon depress me. He says, yes, if you spend 250... Woo! Woo! 250 million?
He was on crack.
God, dog. Okay, all right, let me... Sheesh. I thought they were only spending this on single player game. God, dog, a multiplayer costs $250 million. He says, yes, if you spend $250 million on the game, 1 million sales, it's a failure, especially when you look at how that game came to be and what is now versus what Marathon was. So hold on, Cody. We got to deconstruct this, brother. Whoa, okay. All right, now maybe I was out of the loop. 250 million for a online game? God darn. So they got 1 million sales. Oh, shucks. All right. Yeah. We got to break this down. All right.
Critical consensus. Reviewers.
Not that. Okay. I just found out that Marathon cost $250 million to make, but it only sold 1 million copies. How much did the game actually make in sales? God darn, because I got to know.
The numbers you're seeing are a bit of a math trap because the budget and sales figures for Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 are often confused with other industry.
No, not Senua. Hold on, no. Let's break this. Hold on, let's try it again. I'm trying to figure out if Marathon cost $250 million to develop and it sold 1 million copies, how much money did Marathon actually make? I need to know.
Your math is actually very close to the report circulating in the industry right now. With Marathon having launched just over a month ago, March 5th, 2026. Several analysts and insiders, including Paul Tassi from Forbes, have begun breaking down the financial catastrophe currently facing Bungie and Sony. To answer your question, we have to look at the gross revenue, total money coming in, versus the net revenue, what Bungie actually gets to keep. The math. What did Marathon actually make?
Yeah.
If we take the current estimate of 1.2 million copies sold at a base price of $40, the numbers break down like this. Gross sales revenue, approximately $48 million. Deluxe edition / MTX upsell. Analysts estimate an extra 7M from higher Minister editions and initial microtransactions, bringing the total gross TO roughly asterisk 55 million. The net reality.
God, dog. Jeez, this Joker lost almost $202 million. God. But wait, it gets worse. Oh my gosh. Almost $202 million Sony lost on this bet. I told y'all, man, Bungie was the worst pickup. And I understand why they did it. I get it, man. Doggone. Microsoft was out there buying up every doggone body. Bungie, man, I know they spent a couple billion on Bungie. And now you're about $200 million in the hole for a game that they just made? Oh my gosh, man. God, dog. Let me continue with your email, Cody. I just had to dissect those numbers just a little bit. These jokers lost $200 million on one game. Oh, all right, Cody, here we go. He says it was originally a Mac-only game by a studio that was one of the few that supported Apple/Mac. That game and Myth were these little islands of hope and pride for Mac users. I was a PC kid. Yes, so was I. So I LOL'd at it all. At it. But still, game respects game. Until you take that corpse and stuff it in full of yellow and purple spray, paint it and make it an extraction shooter. That's where they messed up, I believe, Cody. It being an extraction shooter that looks like Splatoon vomited on Apex Legend. He says, I mean, one positive thing for Marathon, it does not use the Unreal. His brother Cody does not like the Unreal Engine. His brother said it does not use the Unreal Engine. And Apex Legends runs on a modified version Valve Source Engine. Wait a minute, pardon me. Give me 1 second, y'all. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. All right, here we go. He says, I mean, one positive thing. Okay, I read that. He says, I say, let Sony win. Let us fall back to the old days after Atari tanked everything, and you could go to flea markets and buy sketchy games on floppy disks and Ziploc bag. God, dog, I remember those days. Hey, Cody, quick story, brother. Just quick. I ain't going to be long-winded. It's this place in Baltimore. Patapsco Flea Market. I used to go there back in the 90s. That's how I played Doom for the first time. Joker had it in a doggone bag, a Ziploc bag, and was like, hey, man, you might want to try this out. This is a new game called Doom. I said, oh, really? Tried it, took it home. It was like $5. I was like, this is amazing. It was $5. And it was dope. It was actually a good game. But I digress, man. Patapsco Flea Market was amazing back in the day. I haven't been there in years. I used to find all kind of stuff. It was one guy. Now, here go the story being long. My bad, Cody. I'm going to wrap it up quick, though. It was one guy that actually got his hands on a game for the original PlayStation that was called Kill Switch. Some of y'all might remember it. It got barred. They didn't end up selling it. He had it at the flea market. I believe it got turned into a Wu-Tang game. I think a fighting game back in the day. I think it was 4 players, somewhere around there. And it actually got, it didn't get sold. He had it. And that was just the kind of things you found at that flea market. It was dope. It was the first time I'd seen imported Japanese games that this guy had. He had this thing on lock. It was incredible. Anybody from Baltimore would know all about that doggone place, man. That place is legendary in my mind. Patapsco Flea Market. But I digress. Let me get back to your email here, Cody. He says, and I'm going to start over. He said, I say, let Sony win. Let us fall back to the old days after Atari tanked everything, and you could go to flea markets and buy sketchy games on floppy disks and Ziploc bags for like $11. That you had like a 30% chance of being able to run on your DOS 286. Oh, 286. bag. I had a 386 back in the day that Cody, man, Cody is spitting right now. He says games should be personal and small again. I kind of agree with you on that. He said we should be teaching kids how to solve problems by making small games and systems. Maybe the next generation can fix the problems we paid into. Maybe they can save us from the single monopoly of a bunch of finance bro MBAs buying every IP so we can have some single crap Ready Player One game and nothing else. Very, very, very interesting here. You got a lot of points here, Cody. Listen, I am all for, and I do believe that these budgets, like you mentioned, $250 million for a game, for a online game that Cody said so eloquently has purple stuff coming out of it looking like a Splatoon clone. The industry has become very, very cost heavy. And I don't even know how we got here. I am one who has never been upset with a game that takes 10 to 12 hours to finish. I mean, and maybe it's because of the era that I came up in too. You know, we had games like, what was it called? The Embassy Mission. And here y'all remember the Embassy Mission back in the day on the original Nintendo? That joker took 10 minutes to beat. I'm talking literally you could finish the Embassy Mission. If you look it up on YouTube, you can finish that game in 10 to 15 minutes. Now, I'm not saying be that kind of game because that's just, you just robbing people at that point. But I am a believer in actually having the smaller games. Like myself, Cody, you know, some of my favorite smaller games, my brother, were Inside. I was a huge fan of Inside. Thought it was great. It didn't have any voice acting. It just told the story that you could understand, you know, to a certain degree. I mean, it was still some gaps in there for me. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. But I loved it. The ending of it, the whole nine. Then you got Little Nightmares 1, huge fan. Little Nightmares 2, love that. Reanimal, of course, I bought it. I haven't played it yet. Played the demo, but even that has a little bit of voice acting in it, so I was kind of hyped up about that. But yeah, I am a believer that it should continue to be a big market for the smaller titles. And even games like, I know still expensive, but the time frame of how long it took to beat wasn't nearly that bad. But you had Miles Morales. You know, Spider-Man Miles Morales, you could beat that in about 10 or 11 hours. And I felt like it was a full-fledged game. I never thought it felt like DLC or that they were cutting content or anything like that. It felt like a fantastic, fully finished game. Ratchet and Clank, the same thing on the shorter side. You know, but the production is amazing in those games. But also, it's a shorter experience. Not everybody, man, Cody, we come from the era, brother, when you were putting in 30 and 40 hours into a game. That was a JRPG. That was an RPG. Average games were not supposed to last that doggone long. I mean, even when you get up to the 25 and 26 hour mark, regular single player games weren't supposed to last that doggone long. So I'm definitely with you with them. They should make these smaller experiences. You know, it should be something that they continue to work towards. I hope that they can get away from these crazy budgets because right now, as you mentioned, Cody, Sony just lost $200+ million on one project. One project. So I know that that's going to have some crazy effects throughout their company when it comes to the financials and what else gets cut it's always a ripple effect. I'm not telling you guys anything that y'all don't already know, but this is going to have extreme consequences on their hands. But like Cody said, hey, man, let it go back to the days when Atari tanked the whole industry and we were able to get this stuff for cheap. Now, I'm going to tell you, Cody, I don't want us to tank, my brother. I don't want it to go back, it just completely, go to a point where it might not be able to return. But I do feel like it does need to be more balance here, because at these rates, I mean, I could see where games are going to go up to $80. I could see it. I can see it happening. And to a certain degree, I ain't never going to justify the price. Darn that. No. I'm a consumer. I want the best price at all times. So I'm never going to say, hey, we should pay more because they're spending more. No, get your spending under control. Get it under control. That's something that you guys have to deal with. So, yeah, I definitely am hoping things get better. What'd you say here, Cody? You said games should be personal and small again. Yeah, we should be teaching kids how to solve problems by making small games and systems. Man, like I said, I mean, it was on a different level for myself. But like I said, gaming taught me how to read. I mean, it really put an emphasis. Don't get me wrong. My parents, they got me I think it was called The Letter People. This was way before Hooked on Phonics. This was back in the 80s. It was this program called The Letter People, and I was learning how to read off of that. My parents were taking time out and showing me how to read. But gaming, though, that took it to a different level for me because I wanted to figure out what was going on the screen. So even from that perspective, it helped me as a kid to be able to learn how to read, problem solving. Yeah, smaller problems, getting this key to open up this gate, Adventure back on the Atari. Cody, I'm sure you remember Adventure, my brother. First game I ever beat in my gaming life. Adventure was the first game I ever beat on the Atari 2600. And I would say that was probably the catalyst to Zelda, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, man, it was the problem solving, things of that nature. We have that today in gaming, but I'm sure, like you said, it can be a little overwhelming for some kids if there's so many different systems in place. So yeah, Cody, man, listen, brother, I always appreciate hearing from you, my brother. I don't think you were saying you want the industry to crash, though. I don't think you were saying that because you said let Sony win. I say let Sony win. We'll see, man. Sony is definitely and these jokers got problems right now. They got some serious problems going on, and we'll have to, keep on following this thing to see what happens in the wash. I'm hoping they'll be able to get this stuff back on track, and I'm so glad that they decided not to go full stop. Not full stop, but just fully diving into this multiplayer model that whatchamacallit, I forgot his name, the guy that was in charge, where he's gone now, that he was trying to get into. So I'm glad that they said 6 and we're gonna stop. I'm telling you, this is Sony's kryptonite. PlayStation got one hit right now. One hit, H-Divers 2. And they've been at this a couple of times. So, yeah, man, you can't be good at everything. Maybe multiplayer just is not where you guys shine over at PlayStation. Single player. That's where you guys are the most strong at. And I understand you need something to keep bringing in revenue, to keep bringing the money in. But these last couple of outings have not been it. Let's see what happens, man. But Cody, again, my brother, shout out to you for writing in. I always appreciate hearing from you. And thank you again so much for your thoughts, brother. Up next, we got one last one, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. from the good brother C-Jack. C-Jack, you're about to take us home yet again, my brother, with your voicemail. Here we go.
What's going on, Keys? It's just C-Jack, man, giving the call in, man. I just wanted to get back at you, man. I remember we was talking like a couple weeks before, man. I remember we was talking about the pros and cons with the consoles and the PCs, man. So I just jumped into the Spider-Man 2, man. Phenomenal game, Keon. You definitely recommended the right thing, man. Phenomenal. But it crashed on me, Keon. That's one of the things that I think that consoles have over PC. I've experienced some crashes with my Spider-Man, man. And I'm like, if I had console, I didn't have to worry about that, man. Keon was standing on business with that. But, yeah, man, I just had to call and let you know. You know, sometimes you got to be real with yourself, man. When it comes to the porting of the games, that's something I never had the issue with when it came down to it was on the console.
Man, shout out to you, C-Jack, for keeping it honest, my brother. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that so much. I truly do. Because you get some PC guys, it's nothing wrong with PC. PC can do no wrong. It has the best graphics, the best frame rates, the best ray tracing. Everything is top tier. Nothing is wrong or goes wrong on PC. C-Jack, I'm going to tell you something, brother. It happens, man. It happens. Listen, I'll even say this, you know, because like you said, sometimes you just got to be honest about it and be fair about the conversation. I have heard from one or two, it hasn't been a lot of people, but they are saying that even Starfield, you know, on PS5 at the moment has been crashing. It's been times where they've had to do a hard reset, things of that nature. Again, this is a third-party game that is on the console. So it happens on console too, man. It really does. And the thing is, with Spider-Man and it being a PS5 exclusive, and I had it, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, my brother. I really am so glad that it's a game that you're able to get into. For me, I would be lying if I said that I experienced any crashes on the PS5. I didn't. It was a smooth experience, man. It truly, truly was. But being over on PC, I do hear that, you know, you have optimization, you know, problems at times. The crashing, I've heard about the crashing, you know, happening as well. But yeah, I would think on console, it would probably be less crashing. It does happen, you know, it does happen on console, but being on PC, y'all just have so much more to deal with. See, Jack, y'all got driver updates that you got to deal with. You know, again, it being optimized for the PC that you're playing it on. You guys got to mess with the sliders, you know, mess with the graphical fidelity and things of that nature. Whereas on console, it's just a much more simple layout. You know, the game, you put the game in and it works. That's it, C-Jack. And that's what I was saying, my brother. It's just a difference. I just want to be able to get a game and it just works. Now, even on the PS5, you do have the option to, you know, put it in performance mode or put it in quality mode, but that's it. It does all of the other work for you versus on PC. I know y'all really got to mess with the sliders and all of that stuff. And then you got to worry about I don't think you have to worry as much about the compatibility issues as you used to back in the day when I was gaming. Like Cody Clark had mentioned, the 286, I had a 386 Pentium back in the day, an IBM. I think it was an IBM joint. But back then it was way more egregious. You had to get a sound blaster. Back then it didn't come with the sound card that you needed. Sound blasters at that time were like $230 back in the 90s. So it's not nearly as egregious as it once was, you know, PC gaming, but you still do have situations and things you got to deal with, man. And again, I just really, really appreciate you just sharing that, C-Jack, just sharing that story with us, letting us know that, hey, man, crashes are happening right now, but I'm sure that, you'll be able to get through that and get some things together to make sure that it doesn't continue to keep doing it, and if it does, C-Jack, then that's going to be tough, man. That's going to be a tough situation to have to deal with. But again, on console, brother, I mean, nothing is perfect, nothing is perfect, but on console, I just don't have those problems, bro. I just don't have those doggone problems, man. But C-Jack, I appreciate your story. Thank you for all of your emails. Thank you for your voicemails. It's greatly, greatly appreciated, man. And shout out to you. And I'm glad, once again, that you're enjoying Spider-Man 2. It was a great game. It really was. I can't wait. C-Jack, what I want to do, man, what I want to know is, once you get to the end of the game, how did you feel? How did you feel at the end? Because for me, that's when, and this is zero spoilers here, but I can say that's when I start saying, it kind of, they kind of start losing me a little bit at the end. So I can't wait till you beat it, and I can't wait to get your thoughts on what you thought about it once you got to the finish line. But C-Jack, thank you again for your voicemails. Greatly appreciated, my brother. Yeah, they gonna have to convince me, though, to get a PC. I can't do it, C-Jack. I can't do it, brother. As long as it's a console, man, I'm gonna get the console. It's just plug and play. Plug and play, C-Jack. I ain't got to deal with all of the other stuff. You got to have a bachelor's in computer science, seem like to be a PC game of the day. Oh, man. But anyway, before we get out of here again, I want to thank Cody Clark. I want to thank Mike J. And again, I want to thank C-Jack for their feedback, and you, the listener, listening to the show. I want to thank you guys just as much, because without y'all being here, the show is not worth doing. So thank all of y'all. So with that being said, we're going to be back at it again on Wednesday. We got some topics to talk about. Oh, it's going to be interesting. And I will say, I'm going to give y'all a bit of a mustard seed here. We might be bringing back something on Wednesday's show that we haven't had on the show for quite some time. It's been years. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be video game theater, even though I did love doing video game theater. You guys have to let me know if y'all want me to bring that back. But it will be something that you can look out for on Wednesday's show. I think you guys will be happy about this. And I'm going to need you guys' feedback on it to let me know. Well, we'll get into it. Don't worry about it. So until Wednesday, when we do this thing again, until then, get out there, play some games, and enjoy yourself. See you guys on Wednesday.